This science fiction story begins by showing a lady named Anna who was pursuing a PhD in the USA. Anna was not like the other students. Her mind and IQ level were much higher, and she had already conducted many experiments. At the moment, Anna was playing a tape recording and crying profusely because the tape was from her mother, who had passed away several years ago. Suddenly, someone comes up behind Anna with a gun and points it at her. To understand why such a thing happened to innocent Anna, we need to go a bit into the past. We are shown a scene from a few days earlier where Anna is following her daily routine and heading to the laboratory to conduct experiments. Anna normally walks and, after having breakfast, reaches her laboratory. Inside this laboratory, she conducts all her experiments after completing her PhD. Anna had spent a lot of time preparing a project that could teleport an object from one place to another. In fact, Anna had derived the formula for a molecular-level distributor, which would allow her to perform teleportation. In all these tasks, an undergraduate student named Net assisted Anna. Together, they were advancing the teleportation project. However, the biggest problem was that the project was currently very unstable, and Anna had not yet tested it on anything. In other words, the project was completely useless at this stage. But Anna and Net made every effort to complete their project because if the teleportation project was successful, it would bring them significant recognition and be considered a major discovery in history, as no scientist had ever created a teleportation device. As Anna and Net were continuously working on their experiments, some of their devices burned out because creating disturbances at the molecular level was a very difficult task. Therefore, they decided to go to the market and buy more advanced equipment. Net told Anna that a friend of his named Liv was highly skilled in these matters and suggested that they should involve her in the project. Anna immediately granted permission. Net was now including Liv in the project as well. The three of them continued their project very effectively. At this time, Anna was working on a teleportation machine, and only the three of them knew about it. If the university officials had found out, they would never have allowed the experiment to take place. As they continued to create disturbances at the molecular level, the time had come when their teleportation machine was complete. Anna now had to test everything thoroughly. She started by using it on small objects, which worked very well. Their team was able to teleport objects from one place to another with the help of the teleportation device. Gradually, they began using larger objects, which also worked effectively. However, their team had not yet conducted any experiments on living beings. Anna, Net, and Liv decided to place a small caterpillar in the teleportation machine. The three of them watched closely to see what would happen to the caterpillar. Surprisingly, the caterpillar was successfully teleported from one place to another. After successfully teleporting a living thing, the three of them became quite confident about their experiment. They now needed to conduct further research on more animals to perfect their teleportation device. Anna asked Liv if she could use her grandmother's cat for testing the teleportation device further, so they could conduct more thorough tests. After turning on the teleportation machine, the cat was also successfully teleported. A few days later, they visited Liv's grandmother to check on the cat. They only needed to confirm whether there were any changes in the body of living beings after teleportation. The cat appeared to be in excellent condition, meaning it was completely safe. Meanwhile, Net had started to like Anna, who was several years older than him. Everyone thought that their experiment would now be successful, but then Liv informed Anna that microtunneling was using their servers and advancing their data. This meant that in just a few days, they would not be able to use their teleportation machine at all. Anna, Net, and Liv were thoroughly distressed by this. They had to present their teleportation device to everyone and show that it was the most advanced discovery. For this, they needed to conduct a human experiment, meaning they needed to teleport a person using the machine. After much deliberation, Anna decided that she would go into the teleportation machine herself to save their project. With no time to spare, Net and Liv accompanied Aina to the laboratory for the experiment. Aina was placed in the teleportation machine but was very scared, as even a slight mistake could end her life. However, Net motivated her, saying that their work could earn them a Nobel Prize and make their lives much better. Net even gave Aina a loving kiss, which made Aina ready for the experiment. She instructed Liv and Net to turn on the teleportation machine. As soon as the machine was turned on, Aina disappeared within moments. Initially, Aina found herself enveloped in darkness, and after a short while, when she regained consciousness, she found herself lying on a bed. She had no idea how or when she had arrived there. Aina immediately followed her daily routine and started heading back to the laboratory. On the way, she encountered a stranger who tried to tell her something, but Aina, being in a hurry to get back to the lab, quickly left. Upon returning to the laboratory, Aina saw that Liv and Net were dismantling everything. When she asked the reason, Liv and Net explained that they were rebuilding everything at a molecular level because the servers were completely blocked, making them unusable. This time, they planned to go to an even more molecular level to improve the teleportation. Aina was very shocked by this. Since Net and Liv could not confirm whether Aina was completely safe after teleportation, they remained busy with their experiment. Aina went outside to call her mother, who was very ill. A little later, Aina returned to her apartment and found that the door was open and things were scattered everywhere inside. Suddenly, Aina saw a man with a monkey mask inside her room. The masked man began attacking Aina and stealing her belongings. Aina managed to push the man out of the window, but she was knocked unconscious due to a head injury. When Aina regained consciousness, she discovered that all her credit card details had been stolen. She was unsure of what to do next because if she reported it to the police, they would likely inspect her laboratory, which could expose their illegal experiment. Therefore, Aina decided to keep everything a secret. As usual, she went back to the laboratory to work on their experiment with Net and Liv. There, Aina noticed that Net, who had always kept his distance from Liv, had become quite close to her. The two were talking very closely, and Liv was also behaving quite unprofessionally towards Aina. Aina was puzzled by the changes after teleportation. Aina wanted to test her blood sample with the teleportation machine, so she went to store it in the storeroom. However, the storeroom door was completely locked, which had never happened before. Net explained that it was probably locked by maintenance workers because some work was being done inside. Aina did not fully believe this, but still gave her blood samples to Net, asking him to store them later. After Aina left, Net and Liv discussed that they must not let Aina realize anything. They feared that their entire plan could be ruined if Aina discovered what was happening. Net even threw Aina's blood samples into the trash bin. When Aina left the laboratory, she saw many people protesting outside. Many of them were wearing monkey and chimpanzee masks, similar to the one worn by the man who had broken into her house. These people were animal rights activists fighting for the rights of innocent animals. Since Aina had no connection to this cause, she went home but was determined to find out what was in the laboratory storeroom and why it was locked. After everyone had left, Aina sneaked back into the laboratory that night. She tried to access the storeroom but was interrupted when Net called her, inviting her for dinner. Aina suspected that Net and Liv were keeping an eye on her, so she had no choice but to return. However, she found her blood sample in the trash bin, which raised her suspicions because she had asked Net to store it in the storeroom. At dinner with Net, he advised Aina to write down all the important details she knew on paper because someone might be watching them. Aina began writing on paper, but the nature of the secret was yet to be revealed. The next day, the three of them were in the laboratory, where Aina was searching for her camcorder to record everything and avoid suspicion. However, she couldn't find the camcorder anywhere. When she asked Liv, Liv was very angry with her. Suddenly, another student from the university entered the laboratory and informed them that the chancellor had called all the students together. Anna, Liv, and Net went to see the chancellor. The chancellor announced that a strange type of wormhole had been created in the satellite servers, and it was the work of a student from their university. Anna tried her best to keep her experiment safe. Meanwhile, she went outside the restaurant to call her mother. Jack, for some unknown reason, was continuously following Anna and keeping an eye on her. When Anna called her mother asked for a password because Anna had told her to only talk if the caller provided the proper password. Anna was unaware of these details, so her mother did not speak with her. After the call ended, it was shown that Anna's mother was in a very desolate room with only a telephone present. Anna felt that since her teleportation, she had started experiencing memory loss, so she went to the library to confirm her condition. She stayed up all night to try and remember past events. The good news was that upon waking up, she remembered everything from the previous day, indicating that there was no memory loss. Anna realized that the issues were likely related to Net and Liv, so she immediately returned to her laboratory. This time, she brought a mechanic with her to open the storeroom door. However, the mechanic said that Liv had taken the key to the door. Liv simply replied that she had lost all the keys and would open the storeroom once she found them. The mechanic then left. Anna was very confused about what Liv and Net were hiding from her. As she left, she felt like she was being followed by several officers. She was very scared and started running into a corner. But then Officer Jack appeared and took Anna to his office. Jack said he needed to discuss something important with her. They knew that Anna had written the code to create the wormhole in the servers, but needed to know who planned to execute it and who was involved. For now, Anna was released after this questioning, but she was soon troubled by many animal protesters outside. They had learned that Anna had harmed many animals for her experiment and killed them, so they were criticizing her heavily. Terrified, Anna fled from there. Anna was deeply confused by these events and needed answers to her questions. So, Anna went directly to Net's house, where she discovered something shocking. She found out that Net and Liv were living together, which deeply hurt her because Net had previously flirted with her and professed his love. Anna also found her camera recorder there, which contained all the camera recordings. As Anna watched the videos, she saw the moment she first entered the teleportation machine. The video showed that after the machine was turned on, she was immediately teleported back to the laboratory, but she couldn't understand how she ended up at home or why she had memory loss. Before she could investigate further, Net arrived. Net told Anna that she didn't know the whole truth yet, but Anna understood that Net and Liv were definitely hiding something from her. Net then began to force himself on Anna, but she had brought a gun with her and fired at Net, injuring him severely. Anna fled and went straight to Liv, who made her feel somewhat comfortable and brought her back to the laboratory. Net, who was severely injured, was also there. Net and Liv then revealed the whole truth to Anna. The teleportation experiment was not the first one. After that, they had conducted another experiment on her. The shocking revelation was that the teleportation experiment had created double copies of her. One was the real Anna, and the other was a duplicate. Due to the creation of the wormhole in the parallel universe, a replica of Anna from that universe had come into their world. Upon learning this, Anna was stunned and confused about whether she was the real Anna or the one from the parallel universe. She started having strange thoughts. After a while, the real Anna emerged from the storeroom. This was the reason why Net and Liv hadn't opened the storeroom. They had kept Anna's real personality hidden there. Both Net and Liv believed that the Anna from the parallel universe would be more advanced and that her intelligence would help them use the teleportation machine more effectively. However, that wasn't the case. Anna saw her duplicate form right in front of her. The real Aina declared that she alone was responsible for the entire project and that she had the capability to assist everyone. Therefore, she insisted that she did not need a duplicate from the parallel universe. After Aina's persistent requests, Net and Liv agreed that the Aina from the present world was sufficient for them. Consequently, the duplicate Aina from the parallel universe was put back into the teleportation machine and vanished. However, after these events, a strange smile appeared on the real Aina's face, revealing that the Aina who vanished was actually the duplicate from the parallel universe. This meant that the real Aina had taken the place of the duplicate, and now, no one could stop her plan to create a massive wormhole. And so, our adventurous tale comes to an end here.